My name is Paul Luna, and you're tuned into F&B Lunacy. I am here today with Chef Nagib Sued. Chef, talk to us about where you are today.
Today, I am working out of all places at a private high school in Buckhead. After working many years at many restaurants, late nights, and suffering from that lifestyle of working nights and then, well, let's go have one drink. Next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and you have to open for brunch, you know. Now I'm over at a private high school in Buckhead. A simpler schedule, Monday to Friday.
What was your first job?
Growing up in Puerto Rico, my first official job was at Kmart as a stock boy and cart picker upper.
Who was your inspiration?
I was always interested in the kitchen. I was always in the kitchen with my mom, opening pots, opening pans, tasting stuff throughout the way. What are you doing? Till I opened a pot of rice. She was making arroz, and I opened it halfway. Like, what are you doing? He's like, no, don't touch the rice. I got my behind handed to me, you know. Then from there, I started looking at other chefs, watching TV shows back in the days when I was growing up. I can never forget it. I would take my break. I was working at my dad's drugstore, and I would take my break between 3 and 4 because at that time on PBS in Puerto Rico, they were showing this old-time program. It was called Great Chefs of the World. I don't know if you ever saw it, but I enjoyed watching it because they would show like an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. I wasn't much into the desserts, but the appetizer and the entree, I love watching it. So that kind of started the whole thing. But it wasn't until I had to move here to Georgia. And here's where it gets really interesting. I ended up in all places in Gainesville, Georgia, because I had a family member living there at the time. So I moved over, you know. And I walked into a restaurant, and I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. And I met the owner. And I worked at this restaurant for you know, kitchen grunt. And Juan Luna, yes. When I told him, yes, this is true story, man. I worked there, kitchen grunt, sorry, just prepping stuff, you know, part-time, like, all right, sure, whatever. We need 3 hours work today, go ahead. But after I started seeing a lot of things that were going on in that kitchen, like, wow, that's cool how they're making that and stuff like that. I come into his office like, hey, I'd like to pursue this a little bit further. You know, can you give me a few more hours? Can you, you know, I just want to learn a little bit more. I'm starting to like this. Entonces, he told me the one thing I'll never forget. I'll never forget it. And I shared this story so many times. He sat me in his dingy little office corridor, and he goes, you know what, Nagib, I can show you how to saute. I can teach you how to, you know, put bread on saute pan and practice at home. I can teach you how to make vinaigrettes, but you got to go to culinary school. If you really like this, you should go to culinary school. If not, and this is harsh, you're going to be another trained monkey. And that just hit me, you know what I mean? And I left depressed from the office that day because I wanted more hours. I wanted to learn more. And he's like telling me, get the hell out of here, go to culinary school, which was in Atlanta. And I'm ever grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that because I did come to Atlanta, went to culinary school. And then from there on out, you know, it just opened a big world for me, looking at chefs from Puerto Rico, looking at chefs from the United States, you know, the big boom of the Food Network and all that. Inspiration, coming back to the original question, inspiration. I've always been inspired by chefs, you know, from Puerto Rico, of course, you know. Willow Bennett, who used to work at the governor's mansion, big chef in Puerto Rico. My personal mentor, here in Atlanta, Papi Hector Santiago, formerly from Pura Vida, now, Burro, Pollo, Andre Gomez, now here, friends, now colleagues that I'm still inspired by them. I look at what they're doing today to inspire me every day,